Welcome to the jump scare. Yeah, no, that's too bright. Hello, everyone. My name is Cora. Welcome back to my channel, Pampered Pages, and welcome to a very pampered, a very bookish, a very summer-themed, end of summer-themed DIML. We are just going to work with this lighting. It is very early in the morning, and the first plan on my agenda today is to go to a beach sunrise. So that is where I am headed. The sun is rising. Let's see. What is the exact risement? 7:08. Let's get this show on the road. I have my beach bag. I didn't pack much. I'm not going to be there very long. Just want to take in the ambiance, the vibes, really set the tone for this DIML. I've made it with 1 minute to spare. A successful, slightly stressful little drive over here. That morning traffic was no joke. I've already taken my seatbelt off. Let's go. Going to sit and journal first, but there's a pot of dolphins and the water's very, very pretty, so we are having a change of plans, much needed change of plans. A dream that I have is to watch a nest of baby sea turtles make their first trek to the sea, to the water. That is a dream. It's not happening today, I think, but one day it will. Until then, I'm just going to enjoy this view. Watch the water roll in like silken, velvety waves. Well, that was quite a wonderful way to start my morning, but I am famished. I'm starving. I need to get some breakfast and coffee in me pronto. But I did get a little bit of reading done, more on that later, and I also journaled for a wee bit, which was very nice. So I feel very ready for this day, very rejuvenated, very at peace. But my stomach's not. So, back home on Eva. I am exactly 2 to 3 minutes away from crashing out on my bed, in my bed, if I don't caffeinate myself. I have had breakfast. I'm making French press coffee ever since my husband and I got back from Switzerland. We've been making French pressed coffee. Interjection, our Airbnb that we stayed at Interlaken had a French press, and we used it every single day and loved it so much that when we got back, we had to get ourselves one. So that's where that comes from. Water is ready now. And my coffee of choice this morning is this Trader Joe's light roast coffee. Can you see it? I love this. This has also been my go-to for months. And then for the sweetness factor, I just put in a little bit of cane sugar and a little bit of caramel sauce, not pictured, cinnamon and vanilla. Those are over there. And then a splash of heavy whipping cream. So I'm going to whip that up while the coffee steeps. And then we'll chat, because chatting is hard at the moment for me. Oh, I thought this was recording. It was not. Let me take a little sip. Yes. Okay. Welcome to a couch chat with Cora. That's me. I have quite the stack of books in front of me, and I also have a little list here of topics that I want to talk about. Up first is an end of summer TBR update. A couple of videos ago, I mentioned that there were 3 books I would love to read before the official end of summer: Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. My fellow page pamperers, I have read 1 out of the 3, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This one took me about a day to read. I was very absorbed and personally had a great reading experience. I found myself days after returning mentally to the storyline and just wondering what those characters were up to. It was emotional and cute.
And
yeah, emotionally cute. Also, a couple of videos ago, I believe, I had mentioned I was listening to The Summer I Turned Pretty as an audiobook from my library, and I was enjoying it quite a bit. So I ended up purchasing the trilogy, and I finished up The Summer I Turned Pretty. I listened to the last about 25% while reading the physical book. That was great. The book is narrated by Lola Tung, who is Belly in the show, and she did a great job. And then also in the same format, I read It's Not Summer Without You. Why was that so hard for me to say? That was so robotic.
It's not summer without you.
But I also listened to the audiobook as I read this. This one took me a day. And
Now
I am reading We'll Always Have Summer. I started it this morning, very freshly in.
but that is what I am currently reading and what I continue reading today.
Whoa. Hello? Words. But also, for my library books, because we're not done, I finished reading Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors, and this one, it was raw. Basically, you have 3 sisters, Avery, Bonnie, and Lucky. They range from early 30s to mid to late 20s, and they all return back to their family apartment in New York a year after their 3rd sister's death to go through her things because their parents are selling the family home. They each have their own lives and struggles, and throughout the book, you return to things that happened in their childhood and relationships that they are currently dealing with and issues that they're currently dealing with. And throughout all of that, you have this blanket of grief that is covering each of them as they navigate life after loss. Keeping on the library book train, I also started reading The Treasure Hunters Club by Tom Ryan. I actually started the audiobook the other night. It came through. It was ready for me when I was on my walk, so I figured, oh, why not? Let's start it. So I plan on picking the physical book back up pretty soon and then doing a read-along with that. And also, The Wedding People by Allison Espak. I'm planning on starting that today as well because it is due back very, very soon. It's a hot title, so I need to get to reading so I can get that back to my library very soon. So I believe that is everything I wanted to talk about. Da-da-da-da. End of summer TBR update, what I'm currently reading, and my reading goals for today. Continue along with We'll Always Have Summer and The Wedding People. You couldn't see that. Here you go. And then tonight, I am planning on starting The Summer I Turned Pretty. The show, I have never watched it, but I've seen so many clips on TikTok that I feel like I have. So I figured I might as well, especially since this trilogy is very fresh in my brain. But I did read, and I could be completely wrong, that Jenny Han has said that the ending of the show is going to differ in ways from the book. So TBD on that one. I know the show has not wrapped up yet. I believe there are a few more episodes left. I'm not entirely sure. I need to look that up, but I know it's not over. So perfect timing to finish this. And then by the time the show wraps up, I can watch it. Exciting. For now, that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be reading and finishing my coffee and relaxing. I think I'm going to have my reading session in my bedroom though, because the vibes are that way. That's where I hear them. A little reading 411, a reading update. I am 33 pages in to We'll Always Have Summer. I'm on chapter 7. Yes, chapter 7. And I've already encountered scenes that I've seen clips of for the show. A lot happens within those first initial pages. There's also a time jump in between the second book and the third, but I knew that after finishing the second book. Also, I do want to mention, I'm listening to it as an audiobook too as I read along. The third book is narrated by Lola Tung, who plays Belly, but it's also narrated by Christopher Briney, who plays Conrad in the show. And then the second book is narrated by Lola Tung and Gavin Castellano, who plays Jeremiah. So, neato. The first book is just narrated by Lola Tung, though. I'm moving and grooving with this trilogy and looking forward to starting the show tonight. Even though I've seen things, it's okay because it just is. And then I started The Wedding People, and with this one, I am 21 pages in. I've read the first chapter. I talked a little bit about this book in my last library haul, but in The Wedding People, we follow two individuals. We follow Phoebe and we follow Lila. Lila is the bride, and she has booked out this inn called the Cornwall Inn for her week-long wedding. And Phoebe is there for her own reasons. You learn very quickly why she is there. I'm looking, and I believe we just follow Phoebe, but the bride also plays a pivotal role in her story. The story is told from a third-person POV, but it almost reads very much first person because you really get a glimpse into Phoebe's mindset and what happened to lead her to where she is today. I feel like there's more that will be unearthed, but it takes place shortly after lockdown. She's been divorced for a year, and she just decides to leave. She travels from St. Louis to Rhode Island to stay at the Cornwall Inn to unalive herself, and she chooses the Cornwall Inn because it's her happy place. A happy place she's never been to before, but that she saw in a magazine one time and never forgot. Right now, though, I am going to make myself some lunch. I had debated on going out, maybe to Trader Joe's, Marshall's, beep bop around, to do a little bit of shopping, but honestly, when I came home from the beach and rinsed off, I put my PJ pants back on, and they're not coming off. So there are no chances. I'm staying in. My soup is cooling. I just poured it into a bowl. It's hot and steamy, so while I wait, I'm going to do a little book haul. The other day, my husband and I were at Costco, and I had seen prior that some Costcos were getting their book section, their book tables back, so I made a beeline. I had to see for myself because my Costco has not had a book section for quite some time. Very sad. However, I'm happy, pleased, overjoyed to announce that the book table was back and I left with 2 books. First is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I have seen this title floating around all summer long, and based on my initial perusement of reviews, people seem to really enjoy it. I did read the first couple of pages, and I think I will too, just based off the first couple of pages. So TBD, but I am adding this to my end of summer TBR because I feel like I should. Need to change positions here. Second, and finally, I picked up By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult. This will be my first Jodi Picoult read, I believe, as far as I'm aware. I am familiar with some of her other titles, but I'm pretty positive, like 99.99% positive, that this will be my first book by her that I will have read. However, based on the blurb, I feel like this has the potential to be right up my alley. We have intertwining timelines, a dual narrative, historical fiction elements, TBD as well, but also I think we have a couple of potential enjoyable reads here, if I say so myself. I'm looking forward to getting to each of them. I feel like By Any Other Name will be a good fall read, winter read maybe. We'll see. We'll see what stories I find myself in these next couple of seasons to end 2025. Peace for now. I am on page 26 of The Wedding People. I decided to jump back into this one first because I know We'll Always Have Summer is going to be a very quick read, going to fly through. I wish I had Spotify hours left so I could listen to the audiobook as I read. I used the rest of my Spotify hours to finish up Blue Sisters. What else did I use it for? I read something else on Spotify. What was it? It's dinner time, and on the menu tonight, we are making gluten-free cheese pizza with a cauliflower crust from Trader Joe's. This tastes like childhood in all the best ways. And then as a pre-dinner treat, I'm going to have a couple of these dark chocolate mint creams, also from Trader Joe's. I don't know what it is about them. I do. It's the sweetness. Gets me every time. But I have read more in The Wedding People. I don't know what page I'm on, but I have made progress. I feel like I'll probably finish it within the next couple of days, maybe sooner. I don't know. But the story is moving along. You get flashbacks into Phoebe's life leading up to her making the trip to the Cornwall Inn. That's perfect timing. Let's put this bad boy in. Welcome to the floor. It is time for a very pampered evening. The sun will be setting soon, from sunrise to sunset. That's the kind of day it's been. But before I head outside, because I'm going to go on my hot girl walk, I am going to do a little bit of a workout inside, have my hot girl walk, come back in, shower, I think, get into PJs. It's been a PJ kind of day, and a bikini. Maybe do a face mask? I don't know. I'm on the fence about a face mask, but I do want to paint my nails and then start The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm not sure how many episodes I'm going to watch, maybe 1 or 2, because then I do want to jump back in to The Wedding People, I think. Either that or the 3rd book in The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. We shall see. I have options. Many, well, not many, a couple. Well, actually, no, I could read any book that I have, so I do have many options, but those are the 2. These past couple of nights have felt lovely. The humidity almost non-existent, or as close as it can get for it being this time of year. And dare I say, and I do say, it kind of feels fallish. Down there by my foot. Hopefully I didn't jostle you too much. I feel like you sunk just a wee bit. However, we've reached the end of this very pampered end of summer day. I have my nail polish of choice ready to go, as well as the summer I turned pretty. I have my 2 current reads. I did go back and look. I haven't read any more since my last update. I am a little over 50 pages in to The Wedding People, and then with We'll Always Have Summer, I'm a little over 30 pages in. So all in all, a very successful reading day, I would say. I would not have spent today any other way. I loved every moment, and thank you for coming along with me as I navigated life. Words, they were hard at times, and pages. All of that to say, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope each of you have a beautiful day. Feel free to let me know in the comments below if you are reading anything specific for this end of summer season, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you soonish. Bye!